Hello? Hold on. Ooh. Oh dear. Okay, we've got someone there, so that'll do. Hi, can you hear me over the voice, over the game making noises? I think the timing should be alright, because we tested it last time. We'll just give it a minute. If nothing else, the Astro City provides excellent waiting music, so that's something. Oh, okay. Some of that is probably just me being very, very quiet. Let me just... Now where's the... Okay, we can just fiddle about with this. Okay, there we go. Is this any better? Wonderful, thank you. Okay, so this is the very first proper, actual gaming hell stream, number 1. This is Astro City Mini Volume 1. Let me just, I need to, oh, where's the, I'm very good at streaming, I know exactly what I'm doing. Nope, that's the wrong one. Hang on, I'll get it in a minute. There we go. The giant text that says now playing, I think. So, this is the Astro City Mini. It's one of those plug-in and play consoles that you may have seen, stuff like the PC Engine Mini and the NES Mini. But this is interesting to me because, you know, it's all Sega games. Anyone in the future watching this from the US may be wondering how on earth I got one of these. In the US, they were sold by Limited Run Games and they made 3,500 of them. In the UK, you can just buy them if you like. You can just go to a place and buy them, like Game, which is a UK equivalent of the GameStop. It's all right. It's made by Sega Toys. It doesn't have any involvement from M2, and it's got its problems. Like there's no dip switches. There's not much in the way of visual options, and you get 2 save slots, which is fine, I guess. But there's also no changing regions of the ROM, so some of them are in Japanese. Not a problem for something like Golden Axe. Definitely a big problem for something like Ichidant R, the longest arcade game ever made. Anyway, so what this stream is going to do is it's just going to show off 4 games from this little Astro City Mini. My original plan was to play every single game on this thing, but then I thought, does anyone want to watch me bumble my way through Scramble Spirits? Or, heaven forbid, Thunder Force AC? And I figured, no, I don't think they do. So that's fine. We're just going to tackle a couple of games that I happen to know relatively well, and essentially this is practice for the real deal when the Taito Egret 2 Mini releases late in a couple of months. When it arrives, hopefully before 2084, I'm going to play every game on that because I love Taito games. Sega games I do love, but not as much as Taito games. So we're gonna just go through 4 of these games tonight, and we're gonna start with one that everyone knows and everyone loves. Well, maybe. Golden Axe. A magical fantasy. Which is true, it is a magical fantasy. So this is one of the games credited to Team Shinobi, which would later become Sega R&D, would later become part of Sega R&D1, which would later become Sega AM1, probably best known for the House of the Dead series. But Team Shinobi made 4 games that actually have their names in it. Shinobi, Altered Beast, Golden Axe, and of course Alien Storm, which has the logos for all the previous games in its track mode. So this is one of the more widely ported games. Obviously the Mega Drive version is basically everywhere. This arcade version has shown up a couple of times, and the emulation here is pretty fine. It's alright, it does the job. The visuals do look a little odd. There's like a almost like an outline on some of them. It's very strange, but you know, for what it is, you know, you just plug in and play it. It does a pretty decent job. And oh look, there's Death Equals Adder. Now, if we wait a minute, as I said, these use the Japanese versions of the ROMs, so there are some slight differences with Golden Axe, as we are going to see very shortly. The blood splatter on the title screen is in every version. Okay, it will be after this one. I vastly prefer the arcade version to the Mega Drive port. The Mega Drive port is surprisingly close, but then it adds that final stage, which is just awful. I really don't like the extra stage they added. It's not fun. There's loads of pitfalls everywhere, and I don't like it. But we're just waiting for something that only shows up in the Japanese version. I'm not making this up, it does show up. Aha, here we go. And off it goes. His head returned to his home planet. He's fine. He'll walk it off. But while this attract mode plays, I forgot to do the bit where I introduce myself because I'm an expert streamer. Hi, I'm Ant. I write a video game website called gaminghell.co.uk, which exists. Some people like it, maybe, don't know. This is not my pivot to video. Don't worry, I'm not giving up writing thousands of words about arcade games nobody cares about. I just wanted to see if I could stream. Oh, hi Dart. Hello. Yes, this is I'm doing the intro spiel. So I just wanted to see if I could do this. I wanted to kind of get into the habit of streaming something once a week, maybe every 2 weeks, so that I could get ready for the Taito Egret 2 Mini, which I'm going to stream everything on. But for now, let's just get started. Also, apologies, this little Astro City Mini has incredibly loud button presses for the start button. Like, you can probably hear it a mile away, so get ready for that. We're going to play as the obvious favourite. Another change with the US version is the select player no longer drips blood, but it does, it does in this Japanese version. And if you ever wondered who your friend Alex is in the Mega Drive port, here he is. He's not doing so great. Maybe he'll be fine, who knows. So, I like Golden Axe. It's not the most... It's obviously this came just around the same time, just slightly before Final Fight. And so it's not quite as sophisticated, it feels more Double Dragon-esque. But what it does do that a lot of brawlers don't do is it keeps it short. This game is like 20-25 minutes long tops, and that's good. Because it knows that there's not too much going on with it, so it's like, no, we'll just keep it nice and brief. And that works out. Some brawlers could learn from that, some modern brawlers could definitely learn from that. Brief is good. Keep things short. And of course that scream is famously stolen from First Blood, when the guy falls off the helicopter. They just sampled it straight up. That's just where it comes from. And there's our friend Chicken Leg, previously in Altered Beast, which was also had the involvement of Makoto Uchida, who did this, Golden Axe, Alien Storm, later went on to do Dynamite Decker, Alien Front Online, I think, and worked a lot with Sega Shanghai, I think, or Sega China, doing stuff like, whatchamacallit, Sega Golden Gun, everyone's favourite. Oh, hi Camping Luna, hello. Are you here to watch Sega arcade games? I hope you are, because that's all we're doing. With the famous Bully Brothers. Especially famous for a cameo in Segaga on the Dreamcast, where they... I think they destroy a couple of buildings. They do show up, definitely. Anyway, one of the things I like about Golden Axe is, forgive me for saying this, the world building. Because you see that sign in the background that says Turtle Village. Turtle Village is our next stage, once we deal with these guys. Whoop. For the record, I'm not like, this isn't going to be a one credit clear. I'm not that good at Golden Axe, but I'm going to show off the game in its entirety. And of course, here's the little thieves. Come on, give it back. That's mine, not yours. Ooh. Nope, come on. Oh well, never mind. And of course, the best part, the little map screen, Death equals Adder. He's in his castle. Now, if you're more familiar with the Mega Drive port, you'll know that it's a lot easier to lure enemies to just walk off the platforms to their doom. But here we have to outsmart them a little and just... whoop, there we go. Now, if you've ever played... if you've ever played this game for score, don't. Because there is a completely bonkers scoring system. I think you have to... I've read about it, and it was like reading about quantum physics. It doesn't make any sense at all. Like, you have to... I think you have to exploit glitches to get them. Like, you have to get multiple kills. You're not allowed to knock people off the edge like that. Completely illogical and bizarre. Don't play this game for score. Now, I like using the running attack because it's fairly easy to get off, get him. But the most powerful attack is this downward stab, probably because it's very difficult to land. It will kill some enemies in just one hit though. And there's our first death, the first of many, don't you worry. Now, just as a heads up, I'll let you know when we're going to use magic. I don't think the strobing effects are too bad in this version, but, you know, just in case. I know that in the future, when we get to Arabian Fight, I'm gonna have to put a little strobe light warning, because that game loves flashing the screen at every opportunity. There we go. It's difficult to land, but if you do land it, it's very strong. And probably the way you're supposed to get 1 credit kills. Again, that's not happening. The back attack also has like 1,000,000 frames, but it's nice and handy. Oh, I forgot that these guys showed up now. Well, at least the dragon got to sleep. He's run off to have adventures somewhere else. So many animation frames. Surprise! Turtle Village was in fact a giant turtle. Now, if I remember right, one of the other changes with the US version is it keeps track of what round you're in. There's like a little indicator on the top of the screen, and it counts those bonus rounds as different rounds to bump up the round count, which is, I mean, that's one way of doing it, I guess. Oh, everyone is here. I'm going to try and get the right round again. Cute. Of course, the Astro City Mini is the first proper home port of one of the most requested Sega arcade games, Golden Axe: The Revenge of Death Adder, which was on the System 32, so it didn't really, there was no chance of them really porting it to the Mega Drive if the Outrunners port is anything to go by. And it was probably too late for the Saturn, so it just never had a chance of going home. I always hoped that the Xbox Live Golden Axe collection had included Revenge of Death Adder, but it is what it is. And there's our first continue. First of many. Now, I do actually have a story about the first time, well, yeah, the first time I ever saw this in an arcade. In a sleepy seaside town in Wales called Rhyl. This is like in the 2000s, where we would go sometimes to play the arcade games that they still had. They had stuff like Starblade, Mad Dog McCree, Lucky and Wild, which was a favourite. Tell them it's the old dog in there. Anyway, so one of the games that was in this incredibly smoky, kind of filthy arcade was Golden Axe. It was the first time I'd ever seen an actual arcade board of it, and it was 9 credits for £1, which is, that's good, that's pretty good, that's enough to get you through the game. And so I did, but every time we went back to Rhyl, the machines would be in worse shape. Some machines would have disappeared, others would be broken down. But the saddest story is Golden Axe, because one time when we went, the machine was switched on, the monitor was blank, but I could hear the attract mode sounds. It was still alive and it was in pain. I think a couple of, maybe the next visit after that little arcade had completely shut down. For our US viewers, if you're not familiar, if a game goes to a UK arcade, it goes to die. There's no getting back from that. It's gonna have cigarettes burnt out on it. It's gonna have drinks spilled on it. The joystick's gonna be knackered. The monitor's gonna be funny. Maybe the speakers will be blown out, who knows. Something's gonna happen to that poor arcade machine. It will not survive. And such is the fate of all arcade machines in the UK. At the very least, we have at least a couple of those arcade club kind of things. Oh, skeleton just took a drop. That's fine. I'm sure it will. Ooh, no. Go for the high. Ah, no. One touch that I really like in this is the skeletons move like they're stop motion ish, kind of like the Ray Harryhausen things from what was that? Jason and the Argonauts, which is obviously a complete rip off of that film, but it's a nice little touch. Sadly, the Mega Drive port is missing that little effect, which that's fair. Yes, the concept of maintenance is foreign to the UK arcade operator, unless they're one of those fancy arcade club kind of things, which do exist. They are nice. Although the last time I went there, I went to one, I played Trog and I got very sick. Don't play Trog, that's the lesson there. But no. I don't know if it's like that in the US, but man, poor arcade machines in the UK. They just go to die. Second credit. I'm hoping to do this in under 9 credits. That's the goal. It's a small goal, but I think it's doable. Again, not playing for score or glory, just getting through. One of the weirder ports of this game is for the Mega CD. It was included as part of a classics collection. Get me out. I don't like this. The Mega CD version has the arcade game soundtrack, but but it's based on the Mega Drive version, and also doesn't have 2-player support for some reason. Like, you just can't use a second controller with it. It just won't work. Ah, Pizza Parlor arcades. Yes, that sounds about right. That's that tracks with what I've heard about Pizza Parlor games. Although the one thing I think of is apparently Spider-Man the arcade game was very popular in Pizza Parlor arcades, for whatever reason. Maybe we'll be talking about Spider-Man the arcade game later in this stream. Who knows? It's a mystery. It's not on this, but a game related to it is. You'll have to watch the rest of the stream to find out. And turns out we were on a great eagle. We're taken across the skies to the castle. Now the final battle begins. And yes, this is the final stage. I told you this was a short game. But again, I think that's in its favour. It does not outstay its welcome. Because some people kind of poo-poo on Golden Axe these days, and I kind of get why, but I don't know. No, change my mind. This game sucks. No. Oh dear. This is going well. This is fine. Oh no, he's not falling for it. Okay. Yes. There we go. And there's the big old eagle. Hi. Okay, we're gonna... Ooh. Gonna move on. This boss. I think he's called General Bitter in the Mega Drive port. Many of the bosses are named after different types of beer for whatever reason. Ooh. Also, my apologies for occasionally making gamer exertion noises. It's completely. I don't intentionally do it. It just happens. What's that credit for? Forward, maybe. This strategy isn't working. Oh, I've never seen them do that before. Okay. I do like the old bonk on the head animation, it's very funny. He has the range. No. 5. The 9 credit dream is still alive. Yeah, he's got a launcher. Where's this guy in Marvel vs. Capcom? Maybe that's where Abigail learned his famous Abigail for. The extended arcade cinematic universe. Now, look carefully in the background here. What's all these snakes? Death Adder is literally made of adders, oh no. Grab some potions. Just about enough. Totally did that on purpose. Totally planned. It wasn't, it was an accident. But there he is, he's literally made of adders. He is death equals adder. And of course, being the final boss, he gets to do magic attacks on you, which are kind of difficult to dodge. We can look forward to that in a moment. But for now, we're gonna show him the dark. If I remember right, these skeletons that show up just keep respawning, so it's best to just focus your attacks on Death Adder himself. And there's the king and the princess, I think? I'm unsure on the lore. Credit 6, maybe? Is someone else keeping track? I've already lost it. I think this game would be relatively not super difficult to learn to beat on 1 credit, it seems. You just need to... I just need to play better, really, but I think it would be a fun challenge. And, you know, it's a relatively short game, so... Yeah, 6, I thought that was the case. And as I remember, the extra boss in the Mega Drive version can do magic attacks with impunity and chain them, which makes him even worse. I mean, Death Adder isn't a huge problem, but Deathbringer in the Mega Drive one just sucks. I really hate that extra stage. Ooh. Oh, maybe the skeletons don't respawn. Maybe I've been wrong my entire life. Ooh. Now, it is of vital importance that we finish off Death Adder while he's on screen, because we have to see his death. It's very important. Nope. Isn't there some kind of... I seem to remember there was like maybe an exploit of some kind with Death Adder, but it escapes me. Oh, come on. Off you go, Skelly Man. Oh hey, they don't respawn. Okay, cool. I see the problem there. There we go. Oh, he's slightly off screen, but... sick. That does happen in the Mega Drive version, but you don't see as much blood. So there we go. That was about 8-9 credits. I'll take that. That's fine. I beat it on a pound. And of course, we now get the best arcade game ending of all time. Congratulations, Phil. Great axe. In the background there, you can also see I think it's a Galaxy Force cabinet. There's a Thunder Force cabinet in the front, and there's a sign that says Lost. Is it Lost Survivor? Which was a very strange kind of deathmatch game, which used a rotary joystick. It was like a third-person shooter, which had a very limited distribution. Thank you. Yeah, I certainly got my quid's worth. Hokari Sweat is an obvious parody of Pocari Sweat. And everyone's escaped from the video game. Oh, hi Sardus. Hello. We're playing Sega arcade games. I think you'll like this. Yes, Last Survivor. There was a game, maybe like in the PS3 era, called Lost Survivor, and I kept getting it mixed up with that. Presented for you by Sega. See you next game. Hensachi. 42, I'll take that. I believe, if I remember right, that's like a kind of grading system in Japanese schools. Someone want to correct me on that? Anyway, I'm a C student. I'm going to C teacher after class. It sucks. Okay, so that's Golden Axe. That is, there's no high score table or anything, so you're really playing for... Well, okay, yeah. Thanks for proving me wrong, video game honest immediately. We are below the top score, so that's fine. But you can't put your name in it, so... Well, who's gonna have to... Okay, so that's Golden Axe done. The next game on our docket tonight is one that you probably saw coming if you know me. It's time for the Bonanza Brothers. Anything is possible for us. Get the treasure within the time limit and escape to the exit. There's no job that they can't do. So this was released on Sega System 24. Apparently the Bonanza Brothers are only worth $100. That sounds about right. So System 24 used a medium resolution monitor, so they were able to do more detailed pixel art, which is why this game looks so good. But more importantly, this little intro that's playing, it is often said on the internet, and even in Sega's official collections, that the Japanese version of Bonanza Brothers has the game as thieves. Like, they're just stealing stuff. No, they're not. The only time they've ever said that the boys were thieves was the Japanese flyer for the game, which comes in both Japanese and English, that specifically says they're thieves who specialize in high-class burglaries. Apparently that flyer was made before the president of Sega at the time objected to the boys being thieves, so they were changed to be more chivalrous burglars, stealing from the rich or the corrupt. And so that little intro that we passed by is basically translated as is in the American version, where the boys are hired to clean up Badville, because that's where they live. They live in Badville, because of course they do. And there's at least 3 other distinct versions of this plot. Like, they're being blackmailed by the chief of police to arrest other gangs. They're testing security systems. Yes, the Bonanza Brothers are pure of heart. They steal from the rich. But the Bonanza Brothers say eat the rich. That's what we're calling it. So, yeah, what's frustrating is there's the PS2, PSP, PS3, and Xbox 360 collections have as a piece of trivia that the boys are thieves in the Japanese version, and it's just not true. They're not. The Bonanza Brothers are innocent. They've been stitched up. So if you've ever played this, well, we may as well do the tutorial. Again, the ROMs on this are all in Japanese, which can be a problem for some games, but this should be relatively easy to figure out. So you got 2 lanes. You can move up and you can move down. And you can slam the door in people's faces, which is extremely funny. You can hide behind a wall. The object is stealth, surprisingly. And indeed, the boys don't use actual guns. They only use stun guns. They don't kill. They're burglars, not assassins. So those guys are distracted, so we can just slip by. And there's the laugh. I think MAME didn't have the voice samples for a long time, although they were present in the Mega Drive version. So that's it. You just steal the stuff and get out. There are 12 stages, so we've got a couple of places to go. And if you wait long enough holding against the wall, a fly shows up. Oh, better swat him. Of course, this game is basically designed for co-op, so if you were playing with a friend, one could take the stairs and the other could slum it down here. Yeah, they're firing BB guns. That sounds about right. The AI is also a little smarter and more vicious in the arcade version. Like, these blue guys, they shoot on sight. They don't wait around. But if you catch them unaware, of course, you can just flip by. Shield guys, you gotta take them from behind. And now we can head to the exit and make our escape. So I'm just going to quickly put a link into chat. The general art style of this game was inspired by an artist called Hiro Yamagata, who did silkscreen paintings. This is mentioned by the graphics designer Manabu Kusunaki in an interview for the Mega Drive Complete Works book. So if you look at his artwork, it's very... Ow, I got hit by a plate. Like, it's pretty obvious that they took inspiration from it, and that's why this game looks really distinctive even now. The only other games that really look like this are the puzzle and action games, which are... 2 of them are on this collection. We will not be playing through them, because they are like 2 hours long. I played through one in co-op, and we just slowly lost our minds while playing it. It was fun. The person who played it is in chat, but we were like, no, maybe we play this once and then we're okay. We don't need to play it ever again. Okay, so up we go. I'm gonna do my best not to be caught on this stage. Oh no! Oh no! Okay, I think we're all... Yes. Yeah, Ichidan R has rank. It totally does. Yeah, this is really fun in co-op. What? Did I? Have I? Oh shit! Oh no! Oh no! Hold on. Thank you, Sardus. I'm smart. Hold on. Okay, I can fix this. Oh no! How on earth did I do that? Oh no! Wait. Okay. Gotta send you to the back. Be gone. There we go. Phew. Okay. Thanks for that. I'm smart. It's my first day. Okay, right, we're back in. Yeah, as I was saying, this is super fun in co-op. It's the only downside is if you're playing the Mega Drive version, you have a limited number of credits, which is unfortunate because this game benefits from having, being able to continue, because you don't want like an expert playing it with someone who hasn't played it before and the other player just gets frustrated and they lose all the credits and they can't continue, because that sucks. No one wants that. But no, it's really charming. I think I prefer the Mega Drive version for the game balance, because some of the stages get really difficult in this arcade version. Also, please take in the backgrounds. There's all these wonderful cityscapes. We'll just send him off. Send him on his way. He's fine. Okay, good. making a daring rooftop escape. This part in particular is difficult because the guy has the shield and you want to not get shot. Is there a string down here? No, that's fine. That's fine. Oh my god. I think in the Mega Drive version you don't lose a life if you fall down there, which is a little nicer. But no, we just... Yeah, it does. It gets really difficult. And there's like... How many stages left? 9 stages left to go. Oh, okay, when I posted the link, I understand. That makes sense. Now, you do get some fun toys to play around with on this stage. There we go, Looney Tunes style. But he'll get back up. And of course, like, this is very obviously made for co-op and mine, because you get one player to scope out the left side of the building. And the other player to scope out the right. Now, the only legitimate online version of this game, sadly, is the Mega Drive version on the Ultimate Collection that they did on Switch and PS4 and Xbox One and that, which is fine. It's very easy to abuse the rewind feature though, which does work online, which is incredibly funny to me. You can make your own Bonanza Bros remixes that way. Ow. Nope. There we go. Ah. Yeah, the enemies are much quicker to shoot at you in the arcade version. There's usually like more of a delay in the Mega Drive version. I'm going the wrong way. I need to go downstairs. Nope. It's often easy to just sort of weave between the rows and dodge enemies that way. Gets a little trickier on later stages when you're not given as much room, but... The Bonanza Brothers are just going to brute force this one. Fortunately, the time resets when you, whenever you have to continue, which is handy. Whoa, no. No. Ah. I'm not shooting a dog. I'm not doing it. You can't make me. That's a good boy right there. I'm not. Whoa. Almost. And there we go. Mel's department store. This is one of the stages that was cut from the Mega Drive version, I think. I'm pretty sure it's this and the antique store. Probably because it uses a lot of unique graphics, as we're going to see in a minute. Ooh. So like you've got all these fruit, you've got the fruit stalls. Fruit paradise. But as you can see, I'm the master of stealth. They'll never see me coming. Nope. Oh, really. Yeah, this isn't a one credit clear either. I'm sort of okay at this. I'm better at the Mega Drive version, which I'm pretty sure I've done on one credit. Like I said, that version is a little easier. No. But yeah, this stage has a ton of unique graphics, like these TVs, and there's a clothes department coming up. Weirdly, half of it you never see because you don't have to do the left side of the building. Here we go. Department store. Fancy hats. The sign that just says hat. That's good. Just gonna wait. Okay, good. Steal a fancy jacket. And you steal it straight off the mannequin, which is a nice little touch. Fantasyland. Of course, there's waiters on the roof for whatever reason. We're just gonna run. Ah, nearly. yeah, the amount of extra graphics on this stage alone made me think that that's probably why they cut it from the Mega Drive version, which is a pretty decent port all around. Like I said, it rebalances things, so it's a bit more reasonable for home play, which is something similar they did with Alien Storm. Sadly, the arcade version is missing one of my favourite sight gags. In the Mega Drive version, that's not like a slope, it's a, it's a series of straight platforms that run directly into a wall. So, on their way down, they just constantly hit walls, and it's really funny. There's no reason to do that to the poor Bonanza Brothers, but the Mega Drive port did it to them. We're just going to avoid the sausage dog. We have no quarrel with them. They may have bitten us on the leg, but no, I'm going to leave them alone. I'm so sorry to anyone who's actually good at arcade games watching this stream. There's some arcade games I'm good at. When the Untitled Chapter 2 Mini comes along, you're going to see the New Zealand story one credit killed like a million times. But no, a lot of the Sega games are a little too tough for me. We can hold out here for a minute. See, those guys shoot on sight. They do not mess around. And they're toned down in the Mega Drive version. No. Of course, the dog's barking also let the other people know that you're around. Yeah, there's a lot going on in this game. I think it doesn't get the respect it deserves sometimes. In fact, I seem to remember when the first Sonic All-Stars Racing game came out, people were mad that the Bonanza Brothers were the final unlockable, well, were amongst the final unlockable characters. But no, they're funny. Put them in. Put these strange Lego people in more games. We are officially halfway through the game. Again, trying not to get caught on this stage. These bonus stages completely missing from the Mega Drive version. They're replaced with little intermission cutscenes instead. Okay, just need to... Oh no, never mind. You failed. Ages jewelry. Ages is Sega backwards. No. The guards aren't the brightest in the world. This guy's very tough though. You have to be very quick. You don't want to step on the cans here, otherwise that will alert the guards. So in the Mega Drive Complete Works interview, it's mentioned that micro home computer games were an inspiration for this, and you can kind of see that. It's I imagine that was an inspiration for a couple of Sega System 24 games, like Crackdown and Game Ground especially, which are also on this little unit. Also very important, there's a sign for Comet Cigar in the back there. Hyperbola Diamond. You could just spend all day looking at the signs in this game, quite frankly. Okay. Oh, and there's Moon Hotel also. Again, important sign. MD Laboratory. Didn't step close enough to the door. It's okay, they'll never spot us. Master of disguise. Ah, no. Please don't hurt me. Yeah, the game has stopped messing around. Yes, it is my dad's laboratory. That's exactly what it stands for. Now, if you want the closest version to Arcade Perfect of this game, surprisingly, you're going to want the PS2 version, which is the part of the Sega Ages line. It's also on the Sega Classics Collection, released over here, translated into English, and it comes with getting my duck face slammed in by the. That's fine. Yeah, like I said, these blue guards don't mess around. They'll just shoot you in the face. They do not care. Oh my god. I can at least get this guy. Yes, there we go. No, but I don't want to go that way. There we are. Yes, the PS2 version it has like redone graphics and everything, but it is based pretty much on the arcade release, including all the stages missing from the Mega Drive port. And here we go. This is the luxury liner. The best bet here is to just head to the bottom as quickly as possible. No. Yes. Always feels good. Unfortunately, getting out of here is a lot more difficult. To make sure it doesn't do any funny business. By the way, the original flyer for this game refers to it as a comical reaction game, and I think that's appropriate. It's there's a lot of funny little animations that play out sometimes. It's And of course, the guy dropping the plates, he alerts everyone to your presence as well. He makes a heck of a lot of noise when he's doing that. You're just going to grab this stuff and get at it. Nope, we're just going to... Oh, no, slipped on the can. Comet Cigar again. And this ship is called the Peppermint Star, so there we go. It's a nice name for a ship. Again, this is environmental storytelling, just like Golden Axe. And we're out. We may be on a ship, but we're still gonna blink. Three stages remain. This is another stage cut from the Mega Drive version. This is the antique store. And I had a really difficult time with this one when I was writing a thing about Bonanza Bros, which we'll get to later. This stage is really difficult. There's a lot that can go wrong. Especially this bit. You just have to have a little shootout with those guys. I'm sure getting back in will be completely fine. You also have to go up to up here to get the last treasure. If you're playing in co-op, maybe give this job to a friend so you don't have to do it. Go the shootout. Okay. It's close. Nope. Okay, we can take this shortcut to get out of here. Oh, that's right, we've got one more thing to get. Again, I suspect this stage was cut because there's a lot of unique graphics. There's a whole jewelry section here. The Mega Drive version was ported by a company called ITL, who I think they did a bit of work for Taito as well. They also made Whip Rush for the Mega Drive, which shows up as a cameo in the Mega Drive port, for something I'll explain in a second. There we go. Satellite. Also, so many good signs in this game. Maybe not as much as the Destroyer from jail, but you can't have more. Oh no! Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Poor Mobo. Or is it Robo? Which one is it? We'll never know. So, this is the Comet Museum. The background details in this one were completely changed in the Mega Drive port. I'm guessing because they didn't have as much resolution to play with, they decided to get rid of the actual art pieces, and instead, they're all tiny pixel art versions of famous Mega Drive games, including Sword of Vermilion, Phantasy Star 2, Space Harrier 2, and Whip Rush, which again was made by ITL. Published by... was that a Renovation game in the US, I think? But it was published by Sega in Japan. I don't think it got an UK release, because of course it didn't. But yeah, this art is really good in the arcade version. I get why they didn't keep it, because it would be difficult to make it look like anything in the Mega Drive port. Don't like those top heavy guys. They're a little too fast. Yeah, we gotta go this way. Now you may have noticed that the timer isn't much of an issue, probably because I'm continuing all the time. That will become... the timer is mostly an issue on the final stage, because you have 10 treasures to get and not enough time. Unfortunately, if you time over, you have to restart the entire stage, which is unfortunate. That guy had the answers though. We knew what I was up to. And of course, we use the zip line just to crash through the wall. Stealthy. It's complete stealth. Just take in this art before we leave. It's good stuff. Okay. Now we're on the final stage, the pyramid. Why Badville has a pyramid, it is unknown. It's unclear, but yeah, we got 10 treasures and 3 minutes to get them. And this place is complicated, it's full of traps, including a really nasty one right at the end. So hopefully we can get through this in one piece. Ow! Yeah, that's what I think. But again, if you continue, you get your time back. So I don't think we're going to be having too many problems here. It's going to be constantly shot in the face for a while. The Bonanza is so used to it. Wow. There's also like a really low roof here, so you can't even jump over bullets. You just have to. Enemies can't see you on stairwells if you're not too high up them, so that's also to your advantage. But yeah, the arcade game stopped messing about long ago, so it does get very difficult. I did kind of want to credit clear this at some point, but I think it's just there's maybe just a little bit too much going on, and if you don't continue, you don't get time back, which can be a big problem on this stage especially. He's trapped at a shoot out once again, and again the low roof, you can't jump over bullets. I think I've used way more credits in this than Golden Axe, but that's fine, I was expecting that. Right? The Bonanza Brothers are just going to throw themselves at this job until it gets done. Just send me down the stairs, please, thank you. Also, best part of collecting treasure you've dropped, you get to hear the laugh all over again. It's great. It doesn't replay in the Mega Drive version, which is unfortunate. Now here's the worst trap in the game. Can you see those floors? Can you see that those floors are slightly different colours than the rest of the floor? There's a reason for that. If you step on them, you fall down and you drop all of your treasure right at the end. Hopefully that does not happen to us. It nearly happened to us, but it's fine. We're just going to escape. And we're done! Many credits later, we've escaped from Badville's pyramid. Congratulations. I think this uses a bit of flashing, so just be careful. Like, it's trying to simulate an old-timey projector, but it's a little worse in the Mega Drive version, really. But it's even got like film grain and that, like it's being on a projector. System 24. Yeah, System 24 was like used floppy disks. So what this little unit doesn't show you is the loading time. When you boot it up in an arcade, it actually has to load from the floppy disk. But yeah, this game doesn't get the respect it deserves, I don't think. I highly recommend, at the very least, the Mega Drive version. It truly was a bonanza, you're right. The real Bonanza Brothers were the treasures we found along the way. So what I'm going to do now, assuming this doesn't mess anything up, is I wrote about Bonanza Brothers. Bonanza Bros. On my tiny little website. So there you go, you can read all about it. And there, everyone's here. The end, presented by Sega. Thank you, see you again. Aw, that's nice. Oh, gotta put my name in. And there we go. I'm one of the super gangs. Definitely didn't use like 10 quid in credits. Now we can go back to the main menu. Our next game is where we go. Unfortunately, you can't change the order of these. It's always year order. But while we're on the menu, the one that is already in there. That's it. That's it. I'm just going to leave that there for you. So our next game is Quartet 2, two-person version of the game Quartet, a group action game featuring 4 space warriors. I love Quartet. We're not going to play through the whole thing because there's like, I think there's 32 stages and it loops. So we're just gonna have a couple of credits on this. This is 1986's Quartet. It has an incredibly cool title screen. And a whole bunch of items. This is obviously made with multiplayer in mind, but it's a very specific kind of multiplayer, as I will explain. Obviously, we have to play as Mary. Those are the rules. That's it. Just only a key opens the door. So this is a relatively basic platformer, inspired a little by Gauntlet. You've got a constantly constantly draining health meter. At the top there, it's the power. And you can have up to 4 players in a stage at any one time, if you're playing on the original version of Quartet. Quartet 2, you have 2 players, but you can pick which player you play. This is like a hyper-competitive co-op game. Again, I'm going to demonstrate in a second. Those bouncing orbs power up your shot, so now we've got penetrating shots. But if you collect, if I collect that one now, it'll reduce me to the lowest level gun, which I'd rather not have. So instead, we're just going to float over here and grab the key. So only one player can have the key at any one time. If a player gets hit by anything, they don't die, they just lose power and get stunned, but they also drop the key. So another player can steal the key and get the credit for it. And so it kind of, once the boss appears, it kind of becomes this free-for-all where you just have to steal the key from the other player. Just try and you can also bounce on each other's heads and disrupt their play. So it's like a really hyper-competitive co-op platformer, which is pretty rare, especially rare back in the day, back when this was first released. And it's so fun if you have the right kind of player. So I have another story about this game. Mary is featured in. She's a. Yes, this music is from is used in Project Diva. They did a remix of the theme of Quartet. So I was at a retro game convention that had a main cabinet, and a bunch of friends from a website I used to write for were like, "What 4-player game should we play?" So I got the choice, which was a mistake, and I said, "Oh, do you want to play Quartet?" And they'd never heard of it. They were like, "What is this?" I was like, "Oh no, it's really fun. It's a 4-player co-op game. You'll love it." So we played 2 rounds of it, and it went off like a bad fart in an elevator. They were like, "Can we play The Simpsons instead, please?" And I was like, okay. I was a little disappointed, but the thing is, those people were very, very nice. They were absolutely lovely people. They're very polite, and that's the problem. You don't want to play with polite people with Quartet. Instead, you want to play with an asshole. So my brother, one day he was over, and I have the PS2 re-release of this with bundled with Strategic Defense Initiative, and I was like, "Do you want to give this a try?" Now my brother is hyper competitive, and so we ended up playing like 6 rounds of it because it just becomes this great competition if you play with people who are super competitive and rude to get the key and screw over the other player. Because not only do you get bragging rights for opening the door, but you get a boost to your energy. If you look at the presentation ceremony at the end here, the player who gets the key gets a power boost and a score boost, so they get to play for longer. So it is in your best interests to screw over your co-op partner. Don't play politely. Be a butthead. Unfortunately, this re-release is not perfect. I think it was either shortly before or shortly after this was released, a big emulation bug was fixed in MAME, where platforms don't appear on one of the later stages, somewhere in like the 20s, I think. And this little unit does not fix that. It's the platforms are still missing. I don't think the game's impossible to complete, but it does make it, a bit harder. And of course, I'm sure you can imagine this game devolves into complete chaos with 4 players, if you've got them with the right mindset now. On the plus side, when you do have 0 power, you don't die straight away. You just die when you get hit. And now some buff angels have come to save me. We'll play another credit for this. And now I said that I would, Spider-Man, the arcade game, would come up again, and here it is. This music was remixed for Spider-Man, the arcade game, for some reason I don't really know. I'm not even sure the same composer probably worked on it, but it's just very strange that they just plucked music from this old arcade game. Sadly, it doesn't use theme of Quartet or Sky. It uses FM Funk and Oki Rap, which are the ones that use like voice samples that don't get reused in the Spider-Man versions. By the way, the soundtrack is of course amazing in this game. It's really good. This is this song's called Sky. I may have used this as my ringtone at some point in my life. Maybe I used the Quartet theme as an alarm. You don't know. But yeah, this is definitely a game best played with players who are okay with being hyper competitive. Just fight it out amongst yourselves. It's fun. And I really wish this had like a modern re-release with online play. We would really benefit from it. If you would like more counter-operative arcade games, highly recommend Clockwork Aquario, which tragically does not have any online. But if you can play local co-op, it's great. It's like pinball platformer. It's highly recommended. Oh yes, there's the links to the Spider-Man remixes. They may have been uploaded on my YouTube account. I can't check right now. I'm waiting for Marvel to sue me. Okay, yeah, Aquario, stay tuned to gaminghell.co.uk for more on Aquario. It's very short, but I think it's really fun, and it's like, it's obviously not perfect. It's very clear that the development was troubled, to put it mildly. But it's I would recommend it. Although honestly, maybe wait for the Steam version, because if it has remote play or you can do parsec, co-op is definitely the best way to play that game. It just devolves into complete chaos. And maybe it was just at the wrong place at the wrong time. Okay, and we'll call it here. We have one final game for tonight. We'll just step on the... up, no. There we go. We're done here. Nope, wrong button. Again, apologies for the menu buttons, they're super loud. What is the final game? Aha! So, you're probably wondering, what the hell is this doing here? What on earth is Rad Mobile doing on this unit? So this doesn't have a steering wheel, it doesn't have a pedal. This This little Astro City Mini just has a stick and buttons. And here's the controls. For whatever reason, they put 2 analog games on this. They put Space Harrier and Rad Mobile. If you've ever tried to play this in MAME, you know that this is an absolute dog to get running because of the analog controls. This version doesn't control that bad at all. Like, I'm genuinely shocked that they got it running as well as it did with the stick. So we're just gonna coin up here. The most important bit is coming up. That's right. Put the gloves on. Yeah, it's slightly twitchy, and I'm pressing the wrong button. There we go. So it's slightly twitchy, but this works way better on an arcade stick than you would imagine. This is, of course, Sega's first System 32 game. It's like a souped-up super scaler game, complete with physics-defying roads and some spiky hedgehog thing. I'm not really sure what they were thinking with that mascot that's swinging from the top of the car. I don't think they'll ever catch on. But yes, I have actually played a real cabinet of this. Beware of oncoming car. So this is unusual because it's, well, first I'm dead. Secondly, it's like simpler than Outrun. Like there's no gear shifting or anything like that. It's similar in that you are racing across the USA, which makes it more similar to Turbo Outrun, I guess. But it's a little simpler. I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, because obviously the big thing is it's from the first person perspective. Okay, we're gonna keep going. We can do better. Oh yes, the Astro City Mini has a little control pad you can get optionally as well, and again, this works pretty well on it. There is, of course, a Saturn conversion, but that's famously said to be controlled like butt. If you have the steering wheel controller, it's not bad, but not many people are going to have a steering wheel controller, so... Oh, now it's dark though, so we've got to switch the headlights on. Yeah, the light, you can switch the lights off if you want, but the game will just keep bugging you to switch them on. Don't drive without your lights on, kids. If you take anything away from this stream, please learn that. No, it's certainly very exciting. It's the first-person perspective is very novel for the time. Not many driving games really did this, and it looks great. Presentation is great across the board. I have a soft spot for this game. It's and it helps if you play on something that has like half decent controls. Otherwise, you're going to struggle. Setting this thing up in MAME is such a pain in the ass. Round 4 Provo. By the way, any American viewers want to let me know if this is accurate to what the US actually looks like. The US is just like a straight road, right? Just asking. Just making sure. Oh no. It's the fuzz. Hopefully they won't catch us. They can't catch me. I'm the Gale Racer. Don't worry, we'll inevitably get caught by them on a later stage. And some of your rivals... Whoa! Oh dear. Some of your rivals just spin out and explode. There is indeed a series of other rad racers, rad mobilers, trying to outrun you. Salt Lake City. Aha! I understand. Thank you for clarifying. The roads in Salt Lake City famously wet all the time. Although speaking of the Saturn version, which was ported by Studio Sacom, no, not Studio Sacom, System Sacom, famous developers of the Mansion of Hidden Souls trilogy. Truly the greatest Souls-likes of all time. But they're actually doing really good. We've only had to continue once. That's going to end in a minute because I'm going to end up falling off this mountain. But anyway, the Saturn version was ported by System Sacom. It was an early Japanese Saturn game retitled Gale Racer and was not released in English. I imagine because they wanted to prioritize like 3D racing games like Sega Rally and Daytona USA, and maybe they figured this would be too dated. It's an okay port, but it does have to load in between stages, whereas this is just one continuous run, which is a little unfortunate. But no, okay, there we go. Yeah, System Sacom were all over the place, bless them. Yes, sorry, I'm just catching up with chat. Gale Racer does run pretty okay with an analog stick. Analog pad for the Saturn, I've got that as well. I imagine it's... No, that's fine. That's fine. That's normal. That's how that happens. We just loop around. We fell off the earth and then we fell back on. It's fine, don't worry about it. Yes, I imagine Gale Racer is compatible with the analog pad because it's compatible with the steering wheel. Saturn pads are really weird. Like, you can't use the analog pad on... No, I'm just going to scream into the ball. You can't use the analog pad on Golden Axe the Duel. The game will straight up lock up. Like, if you try and play it with an analog pad, it will boot you back to the BIOS. Of course we're going to continue to run. We can make it. I believe in us. There's 20 rounds in this. We're making it to the ending because it's very important. Anyone who knows about the ending knows what I'm talking about. Whoop, whoop. But yeah, the Saturn version gets a lot of stick, and I think it's fine. It mostly does the job. It's just unfortunate that it's like one of the, maybe the only System 32 port for the console. There's maybe not as many games as viable to port. Like, some were stuck with licenses, some were Arabian fights, so they weren't worth porting at all. But I would have liked to see a few. Oh, okay, gotta put the wipers back on. Use the wiper. One of the bonuses in the Saturn port is the little mascot swinging from your windshield can be changed into a bunch of other Sonic characters, including Ray the flying squirrel. Bless him. Okay, the cop's gonna get us this time. Oh no. Yeah, we're on. Oh no, there's the end! Oh well. Cop didn't even show up. Okay, we got this time. It is a shame they didn't put more racing games on this little unit, because if they work as well as this, they would have been definitely worth the effort. Maybe not. Maybe hang on would have been nice. But you know, I think the game selection is pretty decent on this. There's a couple of games missing that I would have liked to see. I believe Pengo was not included because they wanted to include the original music and they wouldn't have been able to get the license for it. They were like, if we can't get the original music for Pengo, we're not even bothering. There's no point. And you know what? They were right. They were right. We're now in Lincoln, which I assume is always in permanent darkness. If you think I don't know much about America, wait till you hear me talk about American football. My knowledge of that is taken entirely from that one stage in Tiny Toon Adventures and Super High Impact. I assume they are both accurate. Oh no! Yo, yes, we take those. I think this is this the bit where you can choose your route and you get a different ending? There's definitely two endings. There's one point where you can take a shortcut. Yes, that is clutch indeed. I didn't practice this beforehand, so I'm not sure how I'm doing so well. I haven't put this on easy because there's no dip switch settings on this thing, which is deeply unfortunate. That's definitely a knock against it. I would have preferred to have dip switch settings and maybe region select. Stack columns is on here, but you can't play it in English. That's the best part. Ooh. Oh no, not this time. Ah! I'm glad this game is very accurate to US geography. And while we're here in scenic Omaha, I may as well mention what I plan to do with this stream, if anything. It's going to be nice and quiet. I'm not going to promote it too much because keeping up with chat is hard enough as it is. But there's definitely a few games I would like to show off. I'm going to do more of this Astro City Mini. The big project is the Title Rad 2 Mini. When that arrives, I'm streaming every single game on it. All of them. Because I love Taito. The Tower Plan games, they're going to be a blow, but that's fine. I can live with that. Anyway, here we go for the cops. They're trying to stop us to hold themselves. Oh, maybe they will. Oh, no, yeah. Okay, we're under arrest. Are we? Did we get away with it? Okay, no, that's fine. So yes, the Title we got 2 million, that's definitely on the docket. There's a couple of PS3 games I'd like to show off. Ranko Tsukigime's Longest Day is definitely one of them. That is easily streamable in a single session. There's also like the PS2 version of Matrimony, which I am able to stream. Aside from that, I don't really have plans to quote unquote become a streamer. But you know, I want to see if I can do this, and I want to see. I want to show off some cool games. That's basically what I want to do. Because you know, I do have the capability of streaming a few things, so I may as well. Ooh. Yeah, PS2 Matrimony is weird. It's not a port. It's not a sequel. It's kind of like a remixed version. It's very strange, and it has a couple of extra characters, but a couple of characters cut as well. Oh, are we gonna do it? Yes. The Gale Racer always cuts it close. And now we're in Stringfield. Fuck it, we're going on the train tracks. And if you look in the rearview mirror, there is indeed a train behind us. It's fine, don't worry about it. We can outrun it. We're the Gale Racer with a Rad Mobile. Of course, this also cuts out all the traffic, so you know it works out things. Yeah, just blast through that. That's fine. Ooh, also on PS2, I have the Quartet Quartet Strategic Defense Initiative double pack, which would be cool to show off. I make no promises on these streams being even remotely technically competent, but it's a challenge because I'm not used to this sort of thing, so I'm gonna do my best. And if I entertain a handful of people while I'm doing it, then that's completely fine with me. Whether we will make rank 1 in this game is up for debate. We still got a couple of stages to go. Oh no, it's right there. Make a choice. Continue to run. Gonna need a stretch break when I'm done with this. Just be glad you can't see my my streaming setup. It's a mess. There's tables and chairs and wires everywhere. It's great. Whoop. Okay, round 14. Indianapolis. Another state in permanent darkness, I see. While we're here, may as well mention that there was a sort of sequel to this game in arcades called Rad Valley, which got rid of the light and the wipers. There we go. I'm a mechanic. I know that counts. It gets rid of the lights and the wipers, and focuses more on like I think there's only 4 different stages, but it's designed with twin cabinets in mind. If I remember right, it was beaten to being the first twin cab by something by Namco. I'm thinking it was something from the Final Lap series, but it's not as interesting. It's like there's less fun stuff in Rad Valley. It feels more serious. And now we're about to be arrested. Yeah, Final Lap. That sounds about right. God, there's so many Final Lap games. If you've ever watched Main Hayes' streams on YouTube, he's a main developer, and he is constantly streaming Final Lap, it seems, because there's constantly improvements to them, and they actually control a lot better now, apparently. Because they were always a pain to actually control, especially. Although really, the only true Final Lap game is the one on the PC Engine that has an RPG mode. That's really. See also World Court Tennis, the tennis RPG. We are doing like way better than I had anticipated, and then I crashed straight into the wall because I was paying attention to chat. Yes, I didn't know Rad Mobile existed before mainly, but then I found then I have seen like caps of it at conventions. Rad Valley though, never seen it. I imagine it didn't get much distribution in arcades, like not even US arcades. It doesn't seem like one people talk about very often, which is fair. I think Rad Mobile is better. There's my Sega hot take. Ah, no, wait. There it is. Nope, nope, no. Ah, not this time. Yeah, a machine collecting dust in Blackpool. That sounds about right. I see. So you saw Rad Valley, but you never saw Rad Mobile. Interesting. Okay, since we're talking about UK arcades again, okay. In Blackpool at one point there was a Darius, however it is pronounced, cabinet. One of the monitors was broken. one of the three monitors was busted. So surprisingly, you can't play the game that way. I did try. I gave it a shot. Didn't work. Yeah, it was. I was like, oh, I've never seen one of the. Oh. Now I do know about Philadelphia. I've passed through Philadelphia Airport. Remain. They have like a little walk, one of those travelator things where you walk when you're getting to your flight gate or whatever. And I tell this story all the time because it still makes me laugh. On the travelator in Philadelphia Airport when I passed through, they had films made in Philadelphia. Rocky 1, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, Rocky 4, and Rocky 5. And yeah, no, the cop was right to arrest me for telling that terrible story. Yeah, that's the exact arcade I was thinking of. It's it also had like Zybots, and it had maybe a rainbow edition of Street Fighter 2, but that Darius cab was so sad. It was like, no, maybe I can play it like this. I think it was like the one on the right, the right side, the monitor was busted, but you can't play it like that, it just doesn't. I think we're going to be arrested again. No, I don't think we're making it. Oh, we're so close. We've only got one round left. We're gonna continue to run. We're gonna make it to the end. Yes, 20p Zybots. Oh, the best arcade deal I ever saw in Blackpool was 10p for Sunset Riders. That was good. That was a good time. But most arcades over in the UK have been run down. They don't last long. It is what it is. That's fine. I will not pull over, never. No! That's right, just drive past. I'm completely innocent, officer. Oh. Oh, yeah, no, that's fine. Wow, Hyper Bishi Bashi Champ for 10p, nice! Okay, we can do this. But even though I bemoan British arcades, sometimes you find gold. That arcade in Rill that I mentioned earlier, which had that very sad Golden Axe cabinet, at one point, one of the arcades there had Planet Harriers. One time I went there, they had Planet Harriers. I don't know where they got it from. I don't know how they got it. I don't know where it went afterwards, but it was there for a brief shining moment. And a local arcade I live near in a theme park, because I do live in the kind of place that has a theme park. A very one that has all your favourite copyrighted characters. Did have F-Zero GAX cabinet with the memory card slot filled up with gum. It did not have a seatbelt, however. I do not recommend you play it that way. It's very dangerous. you will be holding on for dear life. But most of the arcades here are gone now, and that's fine. It's the circle of arcade life. Anyway, I don't think we're getting first place, but we can't win everything. And here's the ending. This is the important part. Trans-American Speed Race. There's that cop. Oh! Turns out it's a race queen. World's most dangerous F-Zero cab. Yeah, it really was. You had to hold on for dear life on that thing. And thank you. I'm surprised we did that in as few credits as we did. But the cop is here to... What's he doing? We're alright, we are. Thought you were faster. Aim for top rad next time. I will. I'll do my best. Oh, thank you, Laura Gammy. Yes, so that's Rad Mobile on the Astro City Mini. I'd almost say this is worth getting this whole thing for, because it's a really good, emulation's pretty alright, and it controls completely fine, which you won't get in MAME unless you fight with it for several hours. So we can go back to the main menu. We're pretty much... Oh no, wrong button. I'll figure this out eventually. There we go. So, just before we're going to wrap up in a minute, but, you know, for people who are unfamiliar, let's just have a quick look through what's actually on this thing. It's all done in year order, so obviously we have to have Flicky. Sega needs to push Flicky. What's it say? The debut game with Flicky from the Sonic series. Oh shit, it's Flicky from Sonic. Sega Ninja, which I'm really glad is on here. It's a classic Ninja Princess action. My Hero, which is owned by Bandai Namco nowadays, because it was made by Sanritsu, which became Banpresto, and then they bought them out. I think that's the trajectory of that. Known in Japan as Seishun Scandal. You do have Space Harrier. It's on a special PCB. We got Fantasy Zone, which thankfully comes with a rapid fire button. You really need it for that. Wonderboy, which weirdly doesn't have a logo, but it's still here. Quartet 2, which we saw. If you know what that game is, you know what that game is. Alien Syndrome, probably one of the games that I bought this thing for, because I love Alien Syndrome. It's probably my favourite Sega arcade game from that period. Got Wonderboy Monsterland. Sadly, it is the Japanese version. I will never find the Miracle Ball. You can't make me. Of course, we've got the original Shinobi. Sonic Boom, which exists, I guess. The Arcade Altered Beast, which we may see in a later stream. Scramble Spirits, another game on System 24. Wonderboy 3 Monster Lair, that's the platformer shooter one. Game Ground, another excellent game. Conqueror runaway system with 20 command characters. An epic war that straddles time. That is a choice of words. Sister game Crackdown, we saw Golden Axe. eSWAT, not the Mega Drive version, this is the arcade game. The arcade Shadow Dancer, which nobody likes. So I am told. Alien Storm. I love Alien Storm. Alien Storm's good. A riveting cyber action game. Columns. Bonanza Bros, which we saw. Columns 2, The Journey Through Time. Which does not play like the original Columns, it's Flash Columns. Flash Columns made to hurt you, because it's very difficult. The arcade version of Thunder Force 3, which I would probably be very bad at. Rad Mobile, which we saw. Cotton is present here also. The arcade one, so that's significantly more difficult than any other version. Arabian Fight sucks. Look forward to this on a future stream. Hell yeah, I'm playing this. It sucks. Revenge of Death Adder, which a lot of people were excited about when this was announced for this little thing. Puyo Puyo, the original. The dankest fighting game of all time, Dark Edge. Yeah, Arabian Fight looks amazing in screenshots. In still images, it looks incredible. When you actually play it, even on this, like, it's not an emulation problem. It just sucks. The one disappointment in terms of fighting games is they didn't put Burning Rival on this. I would have loved to see that, because it does have the 6 buttons. Tant R, the first in the puzzle and action games, where you, this is the one themed around detectives, featuring the exploits of Detective Bumpy. I'm just going to leave that there for you. Virtual Fighter, the first one, which runs really well on this, and it even has a couple of different Detective Bumpy, a couple of different control schemes to replicate the way the buttons were laid out on the original cabinets. Sadly, you can't reconfigure buttons on this either. It's another big point against it. The incredible stack columns, sadly not in English. If you have never seen the story to this game, look it up. Ichidantar, which is the second puzzle and action game. The famous duo will become medieval knights. The third one is Sando R, which is on Saturn Titan Video. You can actually get all of these on the Sega Saturn. Sando R was given an individual re-release, and Ichidant and Tantar were bundled with quiz games as part of the Sega 80s line. The final real game is Puyo Puyo 2. The new game mechanic Offset is added, and it's better than before. It sure is. And finally, Dotorikun, the one that is already in there. This was like a game that was given with cabinets. I think it was like part of a Japanese law that cabinets had to come with a game of some description, so that was like a test game. But yeah, that's what's on this thing. We will be seeing some of these in future streams, hopefully. So I'm not sure what my schedule is going to be. I'm thinking every 2 weeks, so that I can get used to this idea of speaking into the microphone, you know, that sort of nonsense. Thank you for showing up, everyone. I hope that you enjoyed this. Oh my god, I've just realised I never changed the now playing. Oh no. Oh no. This entire time we've been playing Golden Axe. Ah, yes. Stream is a success. Okay. Right, so like I said, not sure if not sure what whether it's going to be every week or every other week, but I've got a couple of ideas in mind. This is going to be a very laid back nonsense kind of stream, so I hope that you come to future ones and that you enjoy. For now, we're going to go to the